Thank you, Chairman Carper, and thank you all for being here. Thank you, Senator Blumenthal and Representative Carson. It's nice to see you again, and I appreciate you taking the time to introduce our candidates today. Last week, we had a very productive and positive hearing about how the committee can develop and advance a bipartisan, common sense surface transportation reauthorization bill. We heard about the importance of state flexibility and streamlining to get projects built faster, more efficiently, and to drive our economic growth. I look forward to building on that momentum of the committee and developing a bipartisan bill through the committee in regular order. Today, we have the opportunity to speak with two nominees to environmental policy positions in President Biden's administration who have a great say over the path the administration takes in that regard. I will be questioning potential regulatory overreaches by the administration beyond the authorities granted by Congress and this committee. And I know that the two candidates, both Janet McCabe, who's the nominee for the department, or the Deputy Administrator at EPA, and Brenda Mallory, who I've just met for the first time, the nominee to serve as Chair of the Council on Environmental Quality, will have very definitive answers. These two nominees certainly have a wealth of experience, and I certainly appreciate their willingness to serve, to go through this process as well. And we've talked on the phone, and I appreciate the Zooms that we had. It would be no surprise to either one of them to know that some of the policy positions are causing me some concern. This Congress, and as our Chairman noted, our first nominee in front of the committee was the Secretary Michael Regan, who is presently head of the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. He has been nominated to serve as the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, and he came out of this committee. When I said at our business meeting that month, I said, Secretary Regan is the type of person I would like to see leading a federal agency. He expressed a desire to work in a bipartisan manner and has a history of doing so. This is where our paths diverge. Unfortunately, the agenda had already been set by unconfirmed officials in the Biden administration before Mr. Regan even had his hearing. That agenda is clearly shaping up to be a repeat of the Obama administration's regulatory agenda that devastated my state of West Virginia. Both of our nominees today served in politically appointed leadership roles in that administration and supported that agenda. In my view, that agenda means putting Americans out of work through executive orders like canceling the Keystone XL pipeline and rolling back common sense regulations that protect our environment while keeping our economy moving. It means promising the world that America will double down on reducing emissions while countries like China and India will get a free pass. The part that bothers me the most on these actions was the nonchalant attitude that I felt and many of the people that I represent felt during those years directed at them. According to a Politico reporter on Twitter, Gina McCarthy said at a recent event that after she saves the world from climate change, she'll enjoy the most expensive glass of champagne I can find. She also said in an event in February that, quote, we have to get the middle of the country understanding and active on climate. We have to show them what resilience looks like, end quote. I think that the people of West Virginia and the people in the middle of the country, they know what resilience looks like. We are experts in developing our energy resources and managing our land. What we don't need is an unelected or unaccountable, really, bureaucrat telling us that they know what's best for us, or look forward to celebrating with a toast of the expensive champagne that will cause the policies that have caused pain in the past, and hopefully we can do better in the future. In that past administration, Ms. McCabe reported to Ms. McCarthy. Ms. McCabe said the Clean Power Plan was her proudest accomplishment, and we talked about this on our Zoom call, and I appreciate that. Let's just say I have strong feelings about the plan, as everyone on the committee knows. I led a Congressional Review Act resolution to throw it out that passed our Congress but was vetoed by President Obama. If the Clean Power Plan had been implemented, it would have imposed sweeping energy shifting from coal and natural gas to wind and solar, preventing our gradual economic recovery from the Great Recession, a recovery that still hasn't been felt in parts of my state thanks to some of these regulations. The Clean Power Plan was designed not to protect the environment, but to hurt fossil energy. My state, being a large fossil energy producer, was right in the middle of it and fought the rule in court with a host of other states. It never did go into effect. Ms. Mallory served as the general counsel on the Council of Environmental Quality under President Obama. During that time, the administration made no effort to modernize the decades-old regulations under the NEPA, or the National Environmental Policy Act. And we talked about this in our hearing with the governors, how the permitting for transportation and infrastructure projects goes on for so long, a lot of it under the NEPA regulations, that it costs money and people abandon projects after a while. So President Trump's CEQ did the right thing and updated those regulations to speed project delivery. Ms. Mallory has not minced words about her views on these regulations. When asked about the Trump administration's rules, she said, and I quote, "You almost don't have a choice but to remove the entire thing, the whole thing." Her statements are not surprising because she is presently working at the Southern Environmental Law Center. That center has challenged many critical Trump reforms that I supported: navigable waters, NEPA reform, Clean Water 401 reforms, and other things to try to help get more pipeline development forward. So I look forward to talking with both of you, as I know everybody on this committee will, and the vision that you have in mind. I will say I do thank you for being willing to serve. I know it's not easy, and certainly the EPA and environmental regulations are always very, very difficult and cut both ways. I've shared with both of you my deep compassion for not just my state, but the economic devastation that regulations, when they're not looked at in the whole, can cause to certain areas of the country and plunge people into poverty and into unsafe and unhealthy conditions. So I know you're concerned about that as well. So let's try to find solutions together. I look forward to our nominees' testimony today, and thank you.